Hello peeps. Today I want to talk about a topic I don't think I've actually ever touched upon in a video before, right? You know, one of those rare ones. Today's video, I want to talk about waifu over meta, right? And you guys know that this is a channel completely based off of leaks, meta talk, you know, best in slot, poll value, all that good stuff, right? Because in my opinion, it's not even just about, you know, getting the most meta characters to simply get by in endgame, but it's just very fun talking about synergies that characters can have, their, you know, max damage potential, what they're capable of, yada yada yada. And something I've had to deal with personally, right? Obviously, I have to deal with this a lot more as a content creator. However, more specifically as of recent in WUA, is whenever I make a video kind of discussing meta, leaks, or anything like that, I have people in my comments kind of trying to put down meta players because they have some type of superiority complex that they pull characters they simply like and still clear endgame, right? And they're kind of like trying to force people to enjoy the game in the same way they enjoy it, not realizing that enjoyment is very subjective depending on what someone is looking for, right? Once again, personally, I follow meta not just to be able to clear endgame. If my standard was just being able to clear endgame, then obviously meta simply would not matter. However, meta is just a very, very fun topic to talk about because it gives you glimpses into what you may see in future characters kits down the road. You as well have, you know, once again, cool character synergies you aren't aware of, such as quick swap and other shit being very, very strong in a game such as WUA. You as well have the fact that if you pull correctly, you can save yourself a lot of time if you get a good enough pull on a character, right? For example, Prolova is probably the hardest character in the entirety of version 2 to power creep in the entirety of the game. That's mostly because of the constant teammate shilling she's been getting, just how universal she is, and because of her off-field damage ability, as well being able to be used as a sub-DPS. Yes, it's true. You could still pull Gion in this day and age and clear, but it's simply not going to feel good in the slightest, especially for a casual audience, which many usually watch meta videos on to kind of get a idea of what the best pull for them is to make it as easy for them, right? And this is another thing I kind of want to talk about. When the Annie was around in 2.3 for WUA and they were doing all these rerun banners, I had someone come in my stream and ask me about Gion's value. At the time, I gave them a face value statement, right? Oh, it doesn't really matter, you can clear with everyone, so simply pull Gion because you like him. And then once the massive whimpering waste HP inflation hit, and of course him simply just being an older character, I had this same person come into my stream patches later, pretty recently actually, a few days ago, chat and say that they kind of regret pulling Gion. He just doesn't really perform in the endgame well at all, and it kind of ruins their enjoyment of the game a bit, having to actually, you know, kind of try hard with this guy. So this goes to show, you know, the kind of dangers when you're a content creator and you simply just throw random statements with no substance that don't really go into the specifics. What happens is someone will think, legit, no issues pulling an older character, use them in endgame, and then be confused as to why it performs just so much fucking worse as compared to the newer ones, and they're gonna feel betrayed, kind of lied to, right? Because what happened to it doesn't make a difference. Well, it does make a difference, and this is why so many people are interested in topics such as meta, right? Once again, for me personally, clearing endgame content isn't a problem, so that's not why I'm interested in meta. However, for others, that could be their reason why they're interested in meta, and so that's why I make the videos I do. You can hate me for it. You can say you can still clear with this and that. Oh, you don't need this, right? And that's completely understandable. However, you need to understand that not everybody is you. Right? Not everybody's going to think like you. Not everybody is going to enjoy the game the same way you do. Not everybody's going to be the same skill level as you. There's many varying things for people on this planet because all humans are different, right? And I just don't really get the point of going in specifically meta-based videos from a meta-based channel and trying to put others down for enjoying meta and talking about meta, because you can so-called pull any character to clear, right? I could use this same argument in HSR. Acheron, it can still get low cost zero cycles in that game, which in this game is basically the equivalent of clearing TOA within 20 or 30 seconds, right? Which, by the way, none of the older characters can do unless they're paired with newer DPSs. Right? And this is basically the point I'm trying to get across. Many people on my channel and just in the gacha space in general wouldn't say that meta doesn't matter in HSR, because it does, especially for the average player. And that's why I make the videos I do, and that's why I will continue making these same videos for WUA, right? There's nothing wrong with playing the game you want to, enjoying the game, pulling the characters you like, and not clearing about endgame. That is completely cool. But to some of you out there, please understand, people enjoy games in different ways. And personally, for me and many others, meta is just one of the most fun and interesting ways to enjoy a gacha game and follow along with it, right? To be honest, the minuscule amount of content that we get in games such as gachas for an entire month and a half isn't enough to really satiate me. So the entire meta talking about synergies, character future value, how they may age, this and that, does really, like, you know, it's kind of like filler, right? It's kind of filler in a way, right? If you ever watch an anime, it's kind of like filler because it's something that actually gives you something to talk about, right? Something to enjoy about the game, something to think about, instead of just, you know, mindlessly consuming whatever they give us every once in a while and then forgetting the game exists, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and peace out. So I need to hit the 8-minute mark, so just listen to my yap a bit here. I appreciate people on my channel becoming slightly more friendly over time when it comes to like both the WUA and HSR players interacting. I have to say, gacha tribalism is just the most pathetic shit I've ever seen. It is most commonplace in WUA as of current, but even then it's like slowly getting better. So thank you to, you know, all people on both sides on my channel who are slowly getting better, right? It's still bad, but slowly getting better over time, to the point where it's becoming like more, you know, tame in terms of when I talk about one game and the other. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.